The title for this lesson is Learning to Forgive, Opening the Door to New Life. One reason people are reluctant to forgive is because they misunderstand it. We want to grow in our understanding of forgiveness, so in this lesson, we'll look at what forgiveness does not mean. In the next, we'll look at what forgiveness is about. Someone may ask, should you forgive someone regardless of what they do? A good question to ponder in response to that is, what's your options? Hatred? Bitterness? Anger? Resentment? Whatever. When you think it through, you'll see that the one who benefits most from forgiving others is you. Forgiveness opens the door to new life. Let's look at what forgiveness does not mean. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. That's probably the biggest misconception about forgiveness. Even God doesn't forget when He forgives. How could He? He knows everything. He cannot forget anything. When we are forgiven, God holds nothing against us in judgment. It's all 100% forgiven. So maybe it's best to forgive and remember. We learn from the past to avoid being hurt again if we see old habits or patterns resurfacing. Forgiveness does not mean acting like what happened wasn't that bad. Pretending something wasn't wrong isn't forgiveness, it's pretending. You don't have to deny reality in order to forgive, just the opposite. You can only forgive real wrongdoings. So resist the temptation to act like what happened wasn't really that bad. It was, and it shouldn't have happened, but it did. Now you'll either stay stuck in pain or move forward with forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean excusing what they did. There's no legitimate excuse for wrongdoing. Never compromise your understanding of right and wrong in order to forgive. Those who try to persuade you to do so are not looking out for your good. So don't confuse forgiveness with excuse-making. Forgiveness does not mean you must have continued contact with your offender. Forgive at whatever distance is safe and wise for you. Some people just are not safe enough to maintain contact with. So be wise. Remember this wise saying, the best place to keep a dangerous dog is behind a high fence. Some people may be dangerous dogs in your life. It's best to forgive them from a distance. Before seeking contact with an unsafe person, talk through your intentions and expectations with someone who is wise and who will tell you the truth. And follow good counsel. Forgiveness does not mean that your offender has changed. Forgiving changes you, but your offender may still be the same. Forgiveness does not magically change anything within your offender. So forgive and maintain a realistic understanding about what forgiveness changes. Forgiving others is a way for you to reclaim your life and power. It breaks the bond between what they did and your ability to live with a free heart. Don't perpetuate your bondage. You can forgive. You don't have to wait for them to admit to wrongdoing. You can forgive. You don't have to wait for them to apologize. You can forgive. You don't have to leave them in charge of when you'll move forward with life. You can forgive. Forgive and watch life and love blossom. Remember, you don't need your offender's permission before you can forgive. And you don't need your offender's cooperation in order to forgive. Forgiveness is a choice that's completely up to you. It's a power you possess that no one can take away from you. Someone has said, forgiveness does not change the past, but it does enlarge the future. That's so true. So enlarge your future and forgive. Here's one last point to consider. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Here again, it's smart to seek wise counsel on this. A good rule of thumb is to trust only the trustworthy. How does someone show that they're trustworthy? People show that they are trustworthy over time, so we are quick to forgive and careful with trust. Anyone can be sorry for doing wrong. Anyone can apologize. Anyone can make promises to never cause hurt like that again. But change is demonstrated by how people live over time. Adopt this policy. I hear what you say, I believe what you do. It's a smart way to live. By understanding and granting forgiveness, we find our way to a full and meaningful life. In our next presentation, we'll go a little deeper with this topic by exploring what forgiveness is about.